यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा गिरिधारी राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रसाद भूतले वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमती राधा गोविंद गोस्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते प्रभुपादी देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी ग्राम जन्नस्तारिणे। Krishna. So I'll start reading. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sometimes, as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta paced back and forth chanting the Hare Krishna mantra aloud while fingering his beads, Abhay would enter the room and also chant, walking alongside his spiritual master. Once when Abhay entered Srila Bhakti Siddhanta's room, his spiritual master was sitting on a couch, and Abhay took his seat beside him on an equal level. But then he noticed that all the other disciples in the room were sitting on a lower level at their spiritual master's feet. Abhay kept his seat and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said nothing of it. But Abhay never again sat on an equal level with his spiritual master. Once in a room with many disciples, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was speaking and Abhay listening when an old man beside Abhay motioned to him. As Abhay leaned over to hear what the man wanted, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta suddenly spoke out in annoyance at the two apparently inattentive students. Babu, he first addressed the old man beside Abhay. Do you think you have purchased me with your 150 rupees per month donation? And then, turning to Abhay, why don't you come up here and speak instead of me? Abhay was outwardly mortified, yet he treasured the rebuke. It was in a private meeting that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta once told Abhay of the risk he took by preaching so boldly. Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj's contribution is that he defeated the caste Goswamis. He defeated this Brahmanism. He did it the same way as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyasi, Shudra Kene Nai, Jai Krishna Tattvaveta, Shai Guru Hai. There is no consideration whether one is a sannyasi, a brahmana, a shudra, or a grasta. No, anyone who knows the science of Krishna, he's all right. He's Goswami and he's a brahmana. But no one else taught that since Lord Chaitanya. This was my Guru Maharaj's contribution. And for this reason, he had to face so many vehement protests from these Brahman caste Goswamis. Once they conspired to kill him, my Guru Maharaj told me personally, by his grace, when we used to meet alone, he used to talk about so many things. He was so kind that he used to talk with me, and he personally told me that these people, they wanted to kill me. They collected 25,000 rupees and went to bribe the police officer in charge of the area, saying, you take these 25,000 rupees, we shall do something against Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and you don't take any steps. He could understand that they wanted to kill him. So the police officer frankly came to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Of course, we accept bribes and we indulge in such things, but not for a sadhu, not for a saintly person. I cannot dare. So the police officer refused and said to my Guru Maharaj, you take care. This is the position. So vehemently they protested. But he liked boldness in his disciples. Abhay heard of an occasion when one of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's disciples had been very outspoken at a public meeting and had denounced a highly regarded Mayavadi monk as a foolish priest. The remark had caused a disruption at the meeting, and some of the disciples reported the incident to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, thinking he would be displeased that his disciple had caused a disturbance. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta was pleased and remarked, he has done well. His displeasure occurred rather when he heard of someone's compromise. Srila Prabhupada, when my Guru Maharaj was present, even big scholars were afraid to talk with even his beginning students. My Guru Maharaj was called living encyclopedia. He could talk with anyone on any subject. He was so learned and no compromise. So-called saints, avatars, yogis, everyone who was false was an enemy to my Guru Maharaj. He never compromised. Some godbrothers complained that this preaching was a chopping technique and it would not be successful. But those who criticized him fell down. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta was known as Simha Guru, Lion Guru. On occasion when he saw someone he knew to be a proponent of impersonalism, he would call that person over and challenge, why are you cheating the people with Mayavadi philosophy? He would often tell his disciples not to compromise. Why should you go flatter? He would say, you should speak the plain truth without any flattery. Money will come anyway. Whenever Srila Bhakti Siddhanta wrote or spoke the Vaishnava philosophy, he was uncompromising. The conclusion was according to the Shastra and the logic strong. But sometimes Abhay would hear his spiritual master express the eternal teachings in a unique way that Abhay knew he would never forget. Don't try to see God, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta would say, but act in such a way that God sees you. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta condemned temple proprietors who made a business of showing the deity for a living. To be a sweeper in the street was more honorable, he said. He coined the Bengali phrase, Shalagram Dwara Badam Bhanga. Shalagram Dwara Badam Bhanga. The priests are taking the Shaligram deity as a stone for cracking nuts. In other words, if a person shows the Shaligram form of Lord or any form of the deity, simply with a view to make money, then he is seeing the deity not as the Lord, but as a stone, a means for earning his livelihood. Abhay had the opportunity to see his spiritual master deal with the nationalist Subhash Chandra Bose, who had been Abhay's schoolmate at Scottish Church College. Bose had come in a somewhat critical mood, concerned about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta's recruiting young men into religious life. Should I carry on, Mataji? Prabhuji?
I think we can stop here, Mataji. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I will now share my PowerPoint. Okay. Sorry. Wrong screen. Okay. Yes. Can everyone see the invocation prayers for Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet shranvatam swakatha krishna punya shravana kirtana ridhiyantastha bhadrani vidhunoti surutsatam nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtiki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Recite the shloka for Srimad Bhagavatam 4:19-8. Uhu sarvarasanadya shira dadhiyanna gorasan taravo bhuri vashmana prasuyanta madhuchutaha. Uhu sarvarasanadya shira dadhiyanna gorasan taravo bhuri varshmana prasuyanta madhuchuta. Uhu sarvarasanadya shira dadhiyanna gorasan taravo bhuri varshmana prasuyanta madhuchuta. Would anyone like to please recite the
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Uhu Sharva Rasanatya Shira Dadi Anna Gorasan Tarabo Bhuri Vashmana Prasayam Rashi Yanta Madhuchati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Uhu Sharva Rasanatya Shira Dadi Anna Gorasan Tarabo Bhuri Vashmana Prasuvanta Madhuchitaha.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Uhu Sharva Rasanadya Shira Dadyanna Gorasan Tarovo Bhuri Vashmarna Prashuyanta Madhuchutaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam. Uhu sarva rasanadya sira dudhiyanna gorasan tarabo bhuri varsamanaha prashiyanta madhuchutaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Would anyone like to read the synonyms, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Uhu, bo, sarva rasam, all kinds of taste. Nadia, the rivers. Shira, milk. dahi, curd, anna, different kinds of food, gorasan, other milk products, tarava, trees, bhuri, great, varsamana, having bodies, prayusanta, bow fruit, madhu, shuya, dropping honey. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Would anyone like to read translation? Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Just try. The flowing river supplied all kinds of tastes, sweet, pungent, sour, etc., and very big trees supplied fruit and honey in abundance. The cows, having eaten sufficient green grass, supplied profuse quantities of milk, curd, clarified butter, and similar other necessities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone would like to read the purport?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shall I?
Yes, yes, please, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If rivers are not polluted and are allowed to flow in their own way, or sometimes allowed to flood the land, the land will become very fertile and able to produce all kinds of vegetables, trees and plants. The word rasa means taste. Actually, all rasas are tastes within the earth. As soon as seeds are sown in the ground, various trees sprout up to satisfy our different tastes. For instance, sugarcane provides the juice to satisfy our taste for sweetness, and oranges provide their juice to satisfy our taste for a mixture of sour and sweet. Similarly, there are pineapples and other fruits. At the same time, there are chilies to satisfy our taste for pungency. Although the earth's ground is the same, different tastes arise due to different kinds of seeds. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7:10, Bijam mam sarvabhutanam. I am the original seed of all existences. Therefore, all arrangements are there. And as stated in Ishopanishad, Purnamidam, complete arrangements for the production of all necessities of life are made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. People should therefore learn how to satisfy the Yagna Purush, Lord Vishnu. Indeed, the living entity's prime business is to satisfy the Lord, because the living entity is a part and parcel of the Lord. Thus, the whole system is so arranged that the living entity must do his duty as is constitutionally made. Without doing so, all living entities must suffer. This is the law of nature. The words Tarabo Bhuri Bharsmana indicates very luxuriantly grown, big bodied trees. The purpose of these trees was to produce honey and varieties of fruits. In other words, the forest has also its purpose in supplying honey, roots, and flowers. Unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, due to the absence of yagna, there are many big trees in the forest, but they do not supply sufficient fruits and honey. Thus, everything is dependent on the performance of yagna. The best way to perform yagna in this age is to spread Sankirtan movement all over the world. Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna devotees, I welcome all of you to the daily Srimad Bhagavatam class, and please accept my humble obeisances. So today we are reading this verse, and we'll try to understand the purport and learn, if we can, from that. So when I was given this verse, very interestingly, I'll take you to the translation. So we have this habit, I have this habit actually, to, if Mataji will, give me the verse, and I'll just directly go to the translation and have a quick look immediately, just to make sure that, okay, I'm a bit comfortable with the subject matter or something like that. And then I read the translation. And when I read the translation, I was like, okay, this is just a statement. It's a statement about environment, something to do with botany. What am I going to talk about it? And that's when I realized that it's not us who are talking, right? We have to not say what we understand, because the truth is we don't understand anything. We have to read the purport, and only with the blessings of Guru and Srila Prabhupada we'll understand the purport, and we'll be able to say something about it. And it was so interesting that when I read the purport, and you all have read the purport now, how Srila Prabhupada beautifully engages this environmental statement and links it so effectively to devotional service. Amazing. It was just eye-opener again for me when I read the purport. I was like, okay, this is why we need Guru. This is why we need Srila Prabhupada in our life. So let's look at the purport. Okay, so in the beginning, though, Srila Prabhupada, right? Srila Prabhupada is talking in the beginning, a very powerful statement he mentions, but that's about environment, that if rivers are not polluted and they are allowed to flow in their own way, right? So he mentions, he starts the purport by giving a moral environment lesson that we should not pollute our rivers. The rivers, if they are allowed to flow in their own way, and sometimes also, he writes, allowed to flood the land will become very fertile, yeah, and will be able to produce all kinds of vegetables, trees, and plants. So he builds up the purport now, and he talks about the produce of Mother Earth, how different Mother Earth produces everything. Now, if we look at so far, the chapters where we were, so King Prithu was getting angry at Mother. In the previous chapters, we saw that King Prithu was angry at Mother Earth. Why he was angry? Because she was not producing the enough nutrients to, or enough produce to satisfy his subjects, right? And why she was not doing that? Again, if we go a bit previous to the chapters, it was King Vena, right? During the rule of King Vena, what happened? I think somewhere when King Vena came, none of Mother Earth products were offered to the Lord, were not used as an offering. And that's why Mother Earth stopped producing, right? And then Prithu Maharaj got angry, and then we saw how Mother Earth gave the whole process to Prithu Maharaj, what to do with it, how will she produce again. And we saw how in the beginning of the chapter, Prithu Maharaj has started doing yagyas. He has not finished yet 100 hot sacrifices, right? He has not finished all the sacrifices yet. He started doing, and Bhagwan Swam was present in the yagya ceremony. And what happened? The land, Mother Earth already started, because the process of sacrifice already started. So Mother Earth, all the produce was started offering to Lord in the way of sacrifice. Prescribed as per that yoga. Okay, now, isn't it a miracle that although two plants next to each other in the same dirt, we're using the same resources of Mother Earth, okay, but one will produce like, sweet lemon, sweet melons, or sweet pineapple, sometimes tangy as well, and the other plant would produce maybe hot chilies, hot peppers. Right? Srila Prabhupada explains it. Although the earth's ground is same, different taste arise due to different kind of seeds. And now he links it to devotional service. He says, everything, where are the seeds coming from? Krishna is being so merciful to us that he is trying to satisfy our senses. We are in this material world, we are suffering, but he has still made an arrangement for us. Within that suffering, we are still able to get our preferred taste, right? Isn't that so much mercy of Krishna, right? Srila Prabhupada quotes 7.10 where Bhagwan says that I am the original seed of all existences, right? So if we see, it is like how we can take an example of if we see why the production was stopped and now it's on. It's like a mother giving some money to her child or a flower and saying that go and offer it to the temple, go or to the deity. And what the child does, he goes and he rather buys a candy from it, or he just throws that money altogether, or he throws the flower. He doesn't offer it to the Lord. So what will happen? The mother will stop giving, right? Mother will be like, it's waste of money for me. He's not offering it, or he's using it for a different purpose altogether. And then mother is not happy, child is not happy, he's not getting anything, right? Mother Earth wants to help her children. In one of the article in BTG, Back to Godhead magazine, old article by a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, she mentioned that Srila Prabhupada has quoted once that, just as a cow cannot deliver sufficient milk without being affectionate to the calf, the earth cannot produce sufficient necessities without feeling affection for those who are Krishna conscious. It's a very interesting article in BTG magazine, I think 1978. Something on this verse, this article, amazing article where the relationship between how Mother Earth feels very affectionate towards Krishna conscious people, and then she produces enough. A very long time ago, when His Holiness Bhakti Vishwambhar Maharaj came, at that time when he told once at our place that he asked me that, okay, are you offering tulsi leaf? I can't see fresh tulsi leaf offered to Jagannath. And I said, oh, no, Maharaj, I don't offer. I just use tulsi leaves in the bhoga. And that also, I have, a stack of dried tulsi, so I use that. So Maharaj said that if you will not use fresh leaves, and that stuck me so much. It's Maharaj said that if you will not use fresh leaves for the service of Krishna, Tulsi Maharani will stop producing fresh leaves, because the whole purpose of Tulsi Maharani is to offer service to the Lord. Right? So I was just, this is just an explanation on how Mother Earth, how the connection of, Mother Earth producing and not producing with this canto. Okay, so and Srila Prabhupada is linking how whatever Mother Earth produces is Krishna's of mercy to us anyways. And in the previous verse, if you would have, in the purport, there was, Srila Prabhupada talks about the check. If you are being Krishna conscious, you are performing the sacrifices, he said. If you're performing the prescribed sacrifices, okay, then everything will be in check. The mother nature will be in check. Okay, everything. Srila Prabhupada writes here in the highlighted portion at the end of the first paragraph of the purport that therefore all arrangements are there. And as stated in Ishopnishad, Purnamidam, he quotes Ishopnishad. That's the invocation mantra. All, I think, devotees, Bhakti Shastri students, they would know, would have an interesting class on that, right? Everything is complete arrangement for the production of all necessities of life is made, right? Let's see from few points from that purport. Would anyone like to read the purport here?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I am reading.
Thank you.
Issue invocation mantra purport. No other unit in the universe need make an extraneous effort to try to maintain the universe. All facilities are given to the small complete units, namely the living beings, to enable them to realize the complete whole. All forms of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. Because we do not know that there is complete arrangement in nature for our maintenance, we make efforts to utilize the resources of nature to create so-called complete life of sense enjoyment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. See how nicely Srila Prabhupada mentions that all facilities are given to the small complete units, right? No other unit in the universe need to make an extraneous effort to try to maintain the universe. This whole universe, this whole material world, Bhagwan has prepared it. It's the best automated machine. See how nowadays in management, they are, everyone, all the corporate companies, they are looking for automation. If there's no micromanaging now. If there is, it's not considered healthy, right? Am I being wrong? It's not considered healthy, micromanaging in any company, because that shows that there's something wrong within the processes, that it needs continuous intervention. But with this, just look at this whole material world. It doesn't need. How beautifully it is designed and how perfectly it is designed. What's the function? The function is it will, it will sustain itself if the steps are properly followed. It will sustain itself. Nothing extraneous effort is required in this material world. Right? The nature cycle go on and on its own. That's the function of the material world, right? Coming back again to what Srila Prabhupada mentioned in verse 7 of the same chapter, purport, that unless we are prepared to perform the prescribed sacrifices, our supply of the necessities of life will be checked. So all we need to do is we need to perform our prescribed sacrifices. And that's what he mentions in the next part of the purport. He gives us that, this is all complete. The arrangement is there. What we are supposed to do, we are just supposed to, the living entity's prime business is to satisfy the Lord, because the living entity is part and parcel of the Lord. Right? So what is the purpose of this material world? To satisfy Hari Toshanam. Some said them Hari Toshanam. That is because living entity is part and parcel of the Lord. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the Srimad Bhagavatam opens with the questions of sages, right? And the first question of sages is, what is the ultimate good for all human beings? And what is the answer? Savai pumsa paradharma yatho bhaktir adhokshaja ahap hetukiya pratihata. That verse describes what we are supposed to do. What's our dharma? All of us, what are we supposed to do? The responsibility of human life to satisfy the Lord, Let's see what Srimad Bhagavatam talks about human life, human birth. This is a lesson by Avadhuta Brahmana. He mentions, Labdva sudurlabhamidam bahu sambhavante manusyamartha damanityam apiha dhira turnam yate tanapate danumrityu yavan nihashreyasaya vishaya khalu sarvata syat. Right? Anyone would like to read the translation of this, please?
Yes, Mataji, I can. After many, many births and deaths, one achieves the rare human form of life, which, although temporary, afford one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being. Hare Krishna.
Yes. See how it says, Vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. Sense gratification, Vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. Everywhere it's available. Sense gratification can be easily achieved and done, by anyone. However, Avadhuta Brahman is saying in 11th canto that labdva sudurlabham idam bahu sambhavante. You very, very, it's very rare that we have risen sudurlabham. It is a very nice thing that this durlabh body we have received, right? And it's anityam also. He says, manusyam arthadam anityam. Anityam apiha dhira. Dhira is an intelligent person. So when an intelligent person receives a human body, what does he does? Turnam means fatafat, immediately he nihashreyasaya, for the ultimate, liberation. Srila Prabhupada writes in word to word, ultimate liberation, nihashreyasaya. He starts working for it because he understands that vishaya khalu sarvata syat. Right? So in the purport of this verse, Srila Prabhupada writes again that human life, however, enables one to understand the absolute truth, and is therefore of a grave responsibility. It's a very Srila Prabhupada used the word grave responsibility. Since the valuable human life is not eternal, we should do the needful to achieve the highest perfection, Krishna consciousness, in this life itself. So then the question may arise, how to achieve highest perfection? Again, Bhagavatam answers us, and this time Krishna himself answers it by through Uddhava. So Uddhava asks Bhagwan some questions later in 11th canto, and here Bhagwan says, Nradehamadyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam Mayanukule nanabhasvateritam puman bhavadhim nataret sa atmaha. Anyone would like to read the translation for this one, please?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, I can try. The human body, which can award all benefit in life, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature, although it is a very rare achievement. This human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat, having the spiritual master as the captain and the instructions of the personality of Godhead as favorable winds impelling it on its course. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize this human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. See, Bhagwan says very clearly that the human body, which can award all benefit in life, sulabham, right? But this human body is sudurlabham. Okay, it's a very rare achievement. So what are we supposed to do? We should take this analogy is given by Bhagwan, that this body should be treated as a boat. Okay, and let the captain of the boat be your guru, be the bona fide spiritual master. And the instructions of Bhagavan, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shastras, right? They would become like as favorable winds, which are impelling it on its course. And all these advantages will make our human birth achieve the highest perfection of life very easily. And one who doesn't do this is considered Atmaha, killer of his own soul. Killer of his own soul. This is, and again, Atmaha is also a very underrated concept, because most of the, they are vegetarians all around, they are vegans all around in the world, and all they are focusing on is don't kill animals, don't do this, don't do, yeah, that is right, that is fine. But what about yourself? Are you looking at yourself? You're killing yourself because you're not at all doing any kind of effort to utilize this life and attain the highest perfection of life. Srila Prabhupada in this verse purport, he writes that this life, this human form we get, it goes through so many, different inferior forms he mentioned. And finally, it comes in this human birth, human form, so that we can achieve highest. So this human birth can award the highest perfection of life. We were reading in Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita, right? About, I forgot that Bengali thing, Shaligram Dwara Padam Bhaga, something like, yes. Yeah. So what is that? You're using Shaligram to break badam, break the nuts. The same way we are utilizing this human body, all these vegetarians, vegans, all these, philanthropic people what are they doing? They are, yes, at a part, yeah, definitely at the ladder, they are at a better position than others, but they are also killing someone, and that is their own soul. What can be, the cutting the branch on which we are sitting, Atmaha, you're doing that. I just imagine there is a, company cars provided for meetings. So say Fonterra provides, there are three levels of managers, going for a meeting in Auckland, and all three have to reach there by 11 o'clock. And They all have been provided separate cars. One has been provided, say, Tesla, fully electric, luxurious car. And the second one has been provided a normal electric car. And the third one has been provided a normal petrol car. That's fine. They all are pretty good and they all are in very good condition. The first one who has been provided with Tesla, if he just sits there wondering about the beauty of the car, looking at all the, wonderful options in the car and making sure, looking at the charge, it's not fully charged. It's only 3/4 charged. Maybe I should charge it full. Though I'll reach Auckland on time for my meeting at 11, but, still Hamilton, Auckland, what if something happens? It's better to, take care of the car first, because that's the main thing which will be taking me to the meeting, right? Puts the car on charging, spends time while the car is charging and you viewing all the features, enjoying the car. And what happens? Ultimately, he misses his meeting. About the second person who has been given a normal electric car, say Toyota or any other car, Kia, Mitsubishi, any other car he has been given. He saw, this is 3/4 charged. This is a very good car. And the car is used for driving. That's the main purpose of the car. Hard work, driving. Let's drive. Let's drive. And then he just keeps on driving. And instead of going to Auckland, he just said, wherever this whole charging takes me, that's the purpose of this car. I have to drive it fully, use it to the max. Otherwise, what's the use of the car? The car has been given me for its use, right? So I'll have to use it fully to the maximum. And then he reaches Coromandel. Forget about Auckland. Misses the meeting again, this person. The third person, he gets the car properly. He sees, okay, the tank is full, fine. It can take me to Auckland. Okay, good. I can drive. Everything is okay in the car. Any driver would sit in the car and definitely all three would have would have seen, the car is in a working condition. He sees that. And he starts driving at a proper speed, right? Not breaking any rules anywhere, and reaching to the meeting 15 minutes early, sitting there, attending the meeting. Within these three people, obviously, who would the company benefit? Who would the company award, not benefit, and get benefited from as well? But who would the company award?
The last one.
The last one, right? And why is that? He attended the meeting. He made sure that the car was in a proper condition. He made sure that he reached 15 minutes before, made all his preparations. A perfect candidate. What happened to the first person? The first person are the people who are too much into sense gratification, too much into taking care of their body, of their outer layer, covering human body. I have to do fitness. I have to do, make sure that I'm looking good. I feel good. And that is the main purpose of my life. This body needs to be maintained perfectly and enjoyed as well. But it should look perfectly. We need to make sure that we are doing proper exercises. Anything about spiritual life, we will do when we'll get to it. We'll get to it later. But mostly they are busy in their bodily enjoyments. And the second one, they are those category of humans who thinks that work is worship, or just utilize this body. This body is a machine. If you'll not isko thaka nahi doge, tab tak koi matlab hi nahi hai.
Mode of passion.
Yeah, correct. Mode of passion. So much. You have to work too hard. No need 16 hours, 8 hours. Salary you'll get of 8 hours only. Why to work for 16 hours? Why to work for 12 hours? Why to work for 8.01 minute? You will get salary for 8 hours only. Right? And then you can utilize that 1 minute, work for 8 hours, utilize that 1 minute for the right purpose of this human life, which is, Srila Prabhupada says, it is to satisfy. It is to satisfy who are we supposed to satisfy in this human birth?
The Lord.
The Lord.
The Lord Krishna.
Correct. We are supposed to satisfy the Lord. And how to satisfy the Lord? Again, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the same purport, 4.1988, the one which we are discussing, right? Thus, everything is dependent on the performance of yajna. And the best way to perform yajna in this stage is to spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. This is the final call for action from Srila Prabhupada directly for all of us here. Right? Yesterday in the class, His Grace Dharma Setu Prabhuji mentioned about Andhra Prabhuji. So one of his recording he played in which, Andhra Prabhuji was talking about, all other devotional activities in your life. They all become validated only to the extent of performing the Sankirtan Yajna, the Yuga Dharma of this age. Okay, and Sankirtana, whatever, that's why, that's okay. If you look at it, if a person is following 4 regulative principles, it's okay. But do you think a guru will initiate, unless he is having a hetuki kripa of the guru? But otherwise, in our sampradaya, it is one of the main rule is to chant prescribed rounds, right? That is very important. And there are other forms. So Kirtana means just not chanting. It also means glorifying the Lord's name, form, pastimes, right? That all include in Kirtana. So book distribution, Harinam, all the Namhats, Bhakti Vrikshas, and the most important thing, personal chanting, finishing your rounds, Sankirtana. That finishing your rounds is also a very important part of Kirtana, Sankirtana. So all these are needed in this human form to achieve the perfection and to satisfy the Lord. So if we are really focused in spreading the Sankirtana movement, okay, so there has to be 2, coming back to the analogy of car. So the car can have, it can be book distribution, it could be Harinam, it could be Namhas, Bhakti Vrikshas, everything that they all are a part of Sankirtana movement. But there's one more very important part, the driver, and the driver of all these are, as Andhra Prabhu mentioned, our own chanting. There's very nice quote of Andhra Prabhu. If I'll get some time, I'll share about, how he's urging everyone to be very careful and very attentive while chanting their own rounds. So this whole concept of Sankirtana is all the other devotional activities, but the majority of Sankirtana activities where we are glorifying the Lord's name, pastimes, distributing Srila Prabhupada books, right, form, all those things. And also a part of it is we chanting our prescribed rounds daily. Okay, so all of this we need to do. We have to make sure that we are performing the Sankirtana Yajna to the best of our ability so that we can utilize this human life for the perfection. And the perfection of human life is to satisfy the Lord. Right? Srila Prabhupada, we'll just quickly recap. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the beginning about how, this environment, everything is maintained. It is a two-way, it's a two-way, system where Mother Earth will produce things when she'll feel happy about it. She'll feel affection towards the people who are offering their, plants by themselves, they can't offer anything to the Lord. Right? So they need humans to harvest the crop and then prepare the offerings or even directly offer to the Lord. So that part is needed. And then Srila Prabhupada mentions that how everything, whatever, we have to be very grateful that everything what is all the taste and whatever we need, it's provided by Lord in different kind of seeds, by He coming as different kind of seeds to satisfy our senses. And he also then mentions how this whole world is a complete arrangement. No extra effort is required. only one effort is required, which is to satisfy the Lord. And satisfaction of Lord can only be done by performing the Sankirtana movement all over the world. In this particular one, he's talking about all over the world. Everywhere there should be Harinam, there should be book distribution, temples around the world, there should be Namhats and Bhakti Vrikshas all around the world. And the drivers of all these Sankirtana movements should be very, very, very focused. The purity of intent and the consistency of effort is needed in chanting their own rounds, prescribing their own sadhana bhakti as well. So thank you very much for patiently listening. And any points which I've missed, any comments, any other realizations from this purport, please feel free to share. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavot Pranam.
Dandavot Pranam, Prabhuji.
Beautiful class, right from the beginning. Yeah, you have stressed the Mother Earth importance with the examples you have given with the child and the mother, the relation, and finally concluded with the three curses is so important. We are always engaged with the maintenance of the body, but we are never caring about the soul inside the body, which is the ultimate goal of our life, to satisfy with where Lord resides, and Lord gets connected with our own soul to the Supreme Soul that we are not taking care of. And that examples really, really benefit to all of us. And finally, even though what our daily routine is very, very important to take care of the Sankirtan movement as it goes on, not only on the street, but also make sure you yourself is prepared to join the Sankirtan so that your effort in the Sankirtan is fully satisfied and that will satisfy the others. So this is one and all perception should be maintained very carefully. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I always think, it's a wonder. I don't know whether anyone else noticed that or not, but Tushta Chaitanya Prabhuji has this wonderful ability to summarize the class better than the speaker, at least in my case. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Sita. Very, very wonderful class. Very inspiring class. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Hari Bol. Dandavot Pranam.
Dandavot Pranam, Sita. Yeah, very nice class and so many takeaways today. So inspiring. Very nice, examples you gave to push home the point that, what our focus should be and where we should actually improve ourselves. And for me, especially the takeaway is offering fresh tulsi leaves instead of dried tulsi leaves. So thank you very much. I hope to implement that in my life from today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, just add to this Mataji's comment. Yes, I also do the same thing. From today, I'll change the pattern. I should use the fresh leaf instead of the dry one.
Yeah, that was very interesting instruction given by Maharaj that if you have, then you should use the fresh leaves. They are not money plants or, very beautiful decorative plants. They are Tulsi Maharani who wants to serve the Lord.
It's very, very important. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. Very nice class. You have brought out all the points in a very summarized way and making. It just reminds me of a poem by the song by Narottam Das Thakur. Prabhupada has often had seen in Bengal lectures. He used Hori Hori Bifole Janam Guainu Manusya Janam Paiya Radha Krishna na Bhujiya Janiya Suniya Bishpina. He was trying the importance of stressing the importance of Harinam Mahamantra. And he has also told that without Golopero Premodhan Harinam Sankirtan Rutina Janmilotta. If we do not, in this human form of life, by our higher consciousness, we cannot make our taste for Harinam Sankirtan, then this life will go in vain. And those who are devotees, we have understood it, but we have to realize it in our life and make sure that we ensure our life for a success by observing the instruction from the spiritual master guru and the Shastra, And you have very nicely concluded in a very nice way and with practical example. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. If we don't have any more questions.
Yeah, it appears that if there is anyone wants to make a comment, it's free to make it. Otherwise, we'll conclude it.
Actually, I was trying to meditate on the Hari Hari Bifale, as Prabhuji mentioned. Immediately struck to my mind.
Jai.
Such a beautiful song, Hari Hari Bifale. You are the one.
So
Thank
true.
you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, all the devotees.
So we are concluding this message. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Vancha
Vancha
Kalpataru kripa sindhu bhayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namo. Our great Sita, Devi, Dasi ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Hare
jai.
Krishna.
Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All glories to wonderful devotees. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.